Hello and welcome to my 4.0 KBAI guide for OMSCS. When I took this course, it included a massive ARC-AGI project, 5 mini projects, 3 homeworks, 2 exams, and so many journal reports. Oh, and too much participation. Most of the journals follow the same structure, explain the agent's strategy, strengths, weaknesses, time complexity, and how it compares to human solving. Make sure you always check the page limit as they vary, and don't leave journals until the last minute. Writing as you go can help you organize your thoughts, but you can probably cheese them in a day if you really want to cheese. By the way, we had to follow a JDF format, so to save time manually formatting, I just use a JDF template on Overleaf. Also, make sure your diagrams are large enough to see the text, as JDF's margins are quite large, and tiny text can get point stuck. Homeworks are quite easy in this course. Just explain the basic concepts with examples. Be sure to be detailed enough to max out the points. For listing items, use commas instead of line breaks to save space. If you need tables, it's a good idea to manually write down the syntax for one blank row and then ask AI to generate additional blank rows so you don't waste your time copy-pasting. Just like the journals, they also had to follow JDF. All of the 5 mini projects are pretty forcible, and you can just spam if-else or match case statements and go into every possibility. You know what I mean. The inputs are small enough and there's really not much timeout risk. By the way, the test cases are not consistent, so the same code might score differently. If you've been doing like leak code or competitive programming, like most of these mini projects are so much easier in comparison. The exams are open book and open AI, at least when I took it, but the AI was pretty useless. I made my own notes as I was going through the lectures, and then when I took the exams, I just did Ctrl F through my own notes. This course also has participation points, which is really a waste of time in my opinion. Luckily, they don't force you to participate in every week or something. As long as you participate enough across the entire semester, then they will give you the points. So they have many ways to get participation points. The easiest way is just to do the peer reviews. I personally did 8 peer reviews every week. So they will assign you the grade 3, but you have to request extra ones on your own. The other ways to participate is to post on the course forum, where it's just keep asking questions no matter how dumb you think it is, and try to answer other people's questions. They also offer optional projects, which I believe is completely waste because they are quite time consuming and it's not really worth the points you get. And I really recommend you to not save your participation points till the last moment, because the project can get overwhelming, especially when it comes to milestone D. It just gets so much harder, and you really don't want to be wasting time on participation at this point. Okay, so the ARC-AGI, this is a pattern solving competition, but it's watered down for this course, thank goodness. You get training, input-output pairs, and must predict the test outputs. They have 48 visible problems and 48 hidden ones, and they span over 3 problem sets B, C, D evenly. The project is broken down into milestones. For milestone A, you only require to solve one problem from the B set, but do not hard code. This is the time you set up a good base for your approach. Most of my class use the DSL approach, which stands for domain-specific language, and if I remember correctly, competition winners also use this approach, so it works. But if you want to explore like other things, such as machine learning or something else, this is the time to do so. You really don't want to build your entire base just to find out you have to redo everything later. By the way, for every subsequent milestone, they only expect 5 out of 16 in each respective set. But do not stop at 5 out of 16 because it will throw you off later. Aim for all 16 training problems correct, and make sure you track your failures manually because the autocredit won't tell you which one you missed. So what I did is that I just submit problems one at a time. So if the counter did not go up, then I know it's this hidden problem that's failing. The libraries I use are CB2 and Skype. I'm pretty sure there's a few others that I allowed at that time, but looking at the other people's posts, those two seem to be most commonly used, and it's also what I use as well. But feel free to explore. But actually, most of these questions are doable with NumPy alone, and I think I really only have to use them for some very specific questions. I mean, I remember seeing somebody got like 90 out of 96 just using NumPy alone, but it's always good to have more options, right? And there's a secret cheesing workaround that you get 2 predictions per problem, but with DSL, you only need to use 1 prediction and the other two just didn't do anything for the majority of the time. And I did not understand why we had 2 extra predictions. But I figured this out at the very end of the course, that when you are stuck on the hidden problem, you only actually need to pass the test set, not the training set. So when you force your agent to run DSL on a specific test set, you can use one of your 2 extra predictions to force the agent to do that. Now the downside of that is that sometimes they will return the wrong prediction for other types of questions, but this is why we have 3 predictions. By using the extra predictions to skip training, you have more room for error and you're more likely to get that question correct. So for myself, I only had to use this trick 1 time, but you can actually use it up to 2 times since we have 3 predictions in total. Now going forward, I heard that ARC-AGI 2 exists now, and then it seems to be more complicated than ARC-AGI 1, and it's less likely to hard code things. Now, as for the course itself, I think it's kind of outdated. Like, it didn't really feel like AI to me. It's just hard coding rules. Maybe the only useful thing I learned is the libraries I use, but you can probably learn that like without taking the course, and it's not mandatory to do the project with these libraries. So I'm not really sure if there's anything that's worth the tuition, to be honest, but it is a good experience. Anyways, thank you for watching. If this helps, please give me a like and subscribe. It really means a lot to me. Thank you and peace.